friends, I don't normally do videos about this because I don't like to bring attention to negativity. Remember, because we give it thought, we give it energy, and that becomes a bad thing, right? Because they feed on you in the past. Why do you think they always bring up the past? 911 and all this thing. They feed off that negative history energy. All right, they just keep bringing that forward so let's just keep it calm in your heart and just still have love and joy in your heart. It's this just top. So I just come with neutrality. They ain't gonna suck any energy off me on this one, right? So also because I believe in retroactivity. It's proven even through physics. They're doing experiments now that what we do today can actually impact our past. Kid you not, it does. So why do you see me heard about praying, right today for the past? I do it all the time. Sometimes it sounds weird. That I'll pray, something happens, then I'll go back and pray at that moment. I'll also say pray the past that, this is, please don't cause this minimum damage and stuff. I know it sounds crazy. Or try to put thoughts about the past and modify it. Now, we can't completely change that, but we can modify that to some extent. And I want to talk about that because that is why, I think that some of us can completely awaken with God, our Creator, and things like that, because there's a moment in time where that your Creator already knew all the timing, but we came awake, and so we made a decision somewhere, that free will, to help our God, and also to start, for this reset, to fix this world and help, and also to find the love of our God and our Creator and things like this, right? So that decision you made that day, and even if you're, today, it impacts that past. It does, right? But even though I know it sounds crazy, but it's kind of like a meeting of the minds or meeting of the soul. Your God came out, and it's like touching at the same, touching together and working together, right? So, because somewhere you had to make that decision. So then also, like you want talking now. So think about good things about your past, and try to modify some of that history that made, but like I said, you gotta be careful because, I'm here at this moment now that I've done the right things, mistakes, it's not how horrible it was. I just hope that it could minimize the damage that's been done, because I've hurt other people and hurt myself in the process. It could have been smoother, right? So anyway, so that's enough about that retroactivity. I'm always throwing extra little pieces in there. But here's something that does not add up, because I was listening to you guys' new channel, and I wish I could put a link in there. I will talk about him more. That I just found him, and he's deep state stuff. Boy, this guy is deep state, right? And I've been talking to him back and forth briefly, and he's got a lot of info. And what I found out through him, though, is that we're always thinking about these idlers, that they're not being judged or touched or living these wonderful, glamorous lives, being very wealthy, right? That we think that, well, I said, where's that justice, that justice being served? But I'm telling, this guy is bringing justice as the background. I see so many nightmares. I found out that, for example, William Shatner is involved in the murdering of his wife. They also, a lot of people caught up in the CIA, living in this nightmare, drinking, drugs, just horrible lives, just disgusting. Now, like even Mel Gibson, I met him. Well, I didn't meet him directly, but he was at the Sedona resort when I was there. So I found out it was been a night in Sedona, Arizona. I was going to approach him, but I got enough information and did not engage him. I just talked to the employees and stuff that were working there to give me a little info what he was doing there. He was there because you got this multi-billionaire, I don't know if he's a billionaire or not, probably 500 million to a billion. He's somewhere in there probably, I'm sure. Mel Gibson, you have to be kidding me. Probably 2 billion if you probably add up all his assets, right? But I don't know what he has. But anyway, a lot of damn money. Well, he was trying to dry himself up because he'd been drinking again on the wagon, and it's horrible that here's a guy that makes that kind of money, and he's out, and I'm not trying to offend him, because we all have our demons and our addictions. But there's a guy that has all this money, and he was there a month trying to get rid of the alcohol demon, right? So, and why would you be doing that? Well, because sometimes we just like to drink himself, because he's miserable. And I talked to the staff, I didn't get to see him, that he was pale, just looked like garbage, and they said he just did not look healthy. And also, and that's a part of the sign of his spirituality. It's been damaged, right? So, but this happens all the time, that we hear, they end up in having a terrifying, drugs or suicides, like even Robin Williams. I mean, come on. He was actually murdered, but that's okay. No, it's not okay. I mean, I meant that it's not okay that Robinson was murdered. But I'm saying that you'll find out a lot of these nightmares. Tom Hanks can't come back as coach. He's expedited himself. And Elaine DeGeneres, she's been wearing ankle bracelet monitors. And then we have people who gets in these strange DUI accidents and his drugs. I mean, just, Whitney Houston. I mean, the list just goes on and on. How they always, it always ends up in demise. So we said, judgment, and we always think of great things about these people, but we don't know them. We don't know their lives. We don't know how miserable they're living every day. So we think that all that money and glamour and all this other stuff is wonderful, and it can be a nightmare. It's like this Gina Ortega. I can't block her. I can't get her out of my shorts, get my subscriptions. I can't take it anymore. They're pushing her so hard. She may have already been ruined. She may be gone. I think she is. I think she's gone. There's people saying, oh, well, I hope Hollywood doesn't ruin her and her playing Wednesday in this Addams Family TV series. I hope, I pray that she's going to be okay. But I'm telling you what, just already her behavior of trying to be a glamour girl, because you'll see the difference. The children that are in this Hollywood scheme, the ones that tend to be the quiet, the background, like Gary Coleman, he actually was very quiet in the background. He's actually older. He was actually about 18 when he played that child, or 16, I think, when he played that child. But still, it doesn't matter. He's in the same age that she was. He fought his entire life trying to kind of be quiet after the different strokes. He actually worked in Denver from my state that I lived in, my home state, at a train and gift shop, a train and toy shop downtown Denver. But you got to hear his background. His parents are attacking him, trying to take his money there again. And then I know the security guard with the same different strokes of Kimberly, that she was murdered. And he explained exactly how she was murdered. Not exactly, I don't want to detail gross murder, but how it happened, when it happened. And he was her personal security guard, and he feels guilty this day. He said, I failed her, bud, because it involved getting money off of her for her will. Kid you not. But she was murdered. And that's horrible. She was murdered. She was drugged up and killed. Not kidding you not. The story just goes on and on. It's just a nightmare. So, sorry to go on about that. So I want you to understand that being with God and the Lord ways on this, you say, well, I could be a millionaire and still skirt those issues. You might be able to. Kirk Cameron, I've met him. I've talked to him in Denver. He said, hey, Kirk, how you do? I said, hey, Kirk, I've talked to Kirk Cameron from Growing Pains. I've met him, and he's a great guy. He's one that was successful walking away from Hollywood. And he paid a high price. He was a great upcoming actor. He was like a Michael J. Fox, if not better. I'm not kidding you. I mean, everybody at school, they idolized him and stuff. And he walked away. He said, you know what? God bless that man. Kirk Cameron, you kidding me, buds? I mean, seriously. What a great guy. He walked away. He said, I don't want to end up like that. So he has a church and all that stuff. You know his story. What a great man, right? And anyway. So there are ones that do, that get out of it's like a prison, and within this prison. I mean, we're in a prison, then you put yourself in the solitary confinement. You don't want it. This is prison hell. This is prison earth, friends. We're in hell right now. It's a cell. It's a jail cell. We got to get the hell out of here. But then you don't want to be in solitary confinement inside that damn prison, do you? I'm serious. And then it'd be a nightmare where you got to watch your back. I was saying, even Marilyn Monroe, my God. They're saying, oh, she was a great actress, this and that. I'm not trying to insult her. Saying how wonderful Marilyn Monroe was. Well, guess what? She was cheating. She's insulted men. She said men are filthy, they're worthless. And she was part of that feminist movement. And I'll tell you what, I don't think she's that damn good looking. And, and all this other crap. I think her acting was like a 9-year-old child playing like a boy. You're a pedophile if you actually attracted to her. I'm not kidding you. A pedophile of boys. Because she is not a good actress, right? I'm telling you, she sold it and she cheated. She actually slept with John F. Kennedy's brother. I think while their damn date was John F. Kennedy. And a happy birthday, Mr. President was supposed to be a joke to insult him. So guess what happens to her? Boom, she's gone, right? So I'm telling you, these people live a nightmare. I'm seriously. So thank goodness. You ever want to be an idler? Go look at them. There's probably a few cases where everything's okay, but I'm telling you, everyone from Joan Rivers to Betty White. Oh my God, I can't imagine Betty White. I've heard some background stories of her that I don't know if it's true because we gotta be careful of stuff, the dirty laundry. But anyway, I don't know. My voice still shot. Sorry. So let's go back to Charles Manson, right? Don't you get even his name? Charlie, Charles, Chucky, and also Manson. That's not his real name, by the way. But it Manson. And what did the Lord say? Do not trust the Son of Man. Kind of his name. Kind of like Trumpet. Trump, he's tricky. Trumpet card. Biden trying to buy. You say you buy to the den. You go right in the den. Also biding your time not to go to jail. You're biding your time. Let's see. Also, we have also, this whole script, this matrix, Obama, abomination to our country. By the way, his name has been changed. Mandela effect changes. He used to have an H in there, but I don't go in there. Obama. Anyway, and also, and his name is Hussein. Brother Day goes, why is it all these Husseins? You got Obama Hussein, right? Hussein, he's insane. Who's Hussein? Don't you get Hussein? He's insane. Hussein, who? Are you insane? Yeah. So, I mean, come on. It's all there in front of your face. Well, anyway, this is what bothers me, because we got something that does not add up. And I don't know if it's a Mandela effect. There's residue going on here, but not, usually residue is hidden better. Charles Manson, after his jury trial, during his jury trial, he went and carved an X in his forehead. He said that he's a nobody. There's even a movie called Nobody. I'm nobody. So he talks about this. So you can look up about him being nobody. He means I'm an outcast to your society. You've kicked on me, you spit on me, you've hurt me, and you gotta kind of feel sorry for the guy. If you read his childhood, he may have been MK Ultra. And all these things, he most likely was MK Ultra. What we found out, he was done by the CIA as part of the MK Ultra. Okay, well, anyway, what's interesting about that, they made him a double Doppler or a clone or something, because I know about this cloning stuff. I have not been convinced, but it could be possible. But even they could have a double Doppler or whatever, a doppelganger or whatever that crap the term is. Here's what's weird about it. I'm gonna show you his forehead. See this? I don't know if I can pull that. See that nice big X? That's kind of like Satan too. 10 is, X is a symbol for 10, Satan. I don't know if you knew this. It is a symbol. It is. 10X, say 10 is in Roman 10. So anyway. But what's weird, right down below here. Look at the comparison there. You could never ever, here's a guy that is in trial, carves an X, and then something like 4 other witnesses do the same thing. That not witnesses that are testifying of his cult. They carve X in his forehead too. Well, remember in scripture, you don't want to be carving things in your forehead, because that's the mark of the beast, right? But we know the mark of the beast is actually deeper than that. It's also spiritually getting a mark in your forehead, your thought, your brain, these things like this. So it doesn't have to be physical. The mark of this. Why? So here's the thing: is look at the next photo. Look at these two people. I don't know if you see it already. I mean, I used to do comparison and contrast real quick when I was reading code to match things. So I'd flip really quick between lines so that I could see where a word had changed by another software engineer, or where I needed to make a change. So if I saw like a big long whole page of sentences of software code, I'd flip another one to see what the difference was. And that was important, because that way I could see what the change was, and also I could find the change. Now, they had tools that could mark those for you. They came out later, but I used to flip them very fast and forth visually before they had those tools. So I could see, it'd be like changing the old Bible and Mandela effect the new. I could quickly see which words had changed real fast by comparing and contrasting what had been changed in the code. Very important, because even sometimes those comparison tools would sometimes they miss white spaces or things like that, and I could see it. I'd say, wait, why is there 2 spaces there? Because it was just checking for words, and 2 spaces between 2 letters in software code is a damn nightmare. It can actually be a problem depending on the compiler and the tools. So, not to go on about that. So I'm just saying, so use this technique if you're looking at things even today. So here's the thing: is look at the forehead. See that big X? Now you got to remember the context of the story. That he's just got through the longest trial, right, ever recorded in American history. And so during that trial, he puts an X to claim he's nobody. And you can do some research on it if you want. So look at that nice, and so what I'm getting at is, he gets thrown into jail after that, and he does not have any money, and there's no way they're going to do surgery to remove this thing or fix this forehead thing he did. And then go down to a later photo. Oh, you kidding me? Look at this one. Look, there is no X. Look. There is no X. Oh, look at these two. Look at this. See that one? Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Here. See that one there? And that one there? See, the X is at an angle like this. It'd be like the X would be at an angle just like that. Something ain't right, folks. This ain't the same guy. This is not the same guy. Now, I'm not a facial expert, but even the cheekbones, look how his cheekbones are here. Look how sharp they're done. That could have recessed the age. That is not the same dude. It's damn close. But I don't know. And one's younger and older. But I'm telling you, how, and I would like to know, and how are you going to find the story to find out whether he actually had these removed somehow and had money to do this? How? Right? But look, it is clear. You can compare. Where is that huge X? I mean, you're talking. This thing was not just a cut. It was. This thing was a full blown, like, non-healing scar in his head. I mean, they said they called it a tattoo, even when they during the trial. So he tattoos forward X because he wanted to be nobody going forward. And then why would he change the swastika? I mean, what would be the story? Now, I remember my reality, him always having a swastika. I never heard the story about the X. So is that a Mandela effect? I don't know. Because I never, and I don't really study that. Oh, there's another guy mimicking his X. You gotta be kidding me. I mean, look at this X. I mean, geez. So how do you go from this to this and not have it show? I mean, even the angle's off. So the reason I keep saying the angle is maybe you could have modified the tattoo to include the X. Do some take that and make it an X. But you can't modify that thing. That swastika is completely different. And always remember having a swastika. Well, wait, not to go on about it. It's another one of those things that our reality is so fake. You kidding me? And we don't know which one's man's doing and which one's spiritual. That's where it gets confusing. Does it matter? Well, not really. It does, because even if it's man, that's your God and creator allowing man to make those modifications, the awakening process. To me, it has more significance if it's spiritual, though. It means it's more of a, more of a thing coming from the high command above versus just, some guy, marking his forehead. Anyway, God bless and love you all.